Hello children, I hope you are feeling happy and strong. Welcome to this special English hour where we will learn lots of new things and have lots of fun. Are you ready? Let's get started. Before we move to reading the poem, I would like you to see a video.
Conservation of natural resources. Natural resources are gift of nature which can be used by humans. Some of the natural resources are air, water, fossil fuel, wood, wind, iron, and coal. Some natural resources are renewable, while others are non-renewable. Some of the renewable resources are sun, wind, water. Some of the non-renewable resources are fossil fuel, coal, and some minerals. Non-renewable resources, being limited in availability, will run out with time. As human needs increases, the usage of natural resources also increasing. At such pace, soon we will have no resources available. It takes millions of years of natural resources to be renewed. So, we need to protect our resources by reducing pollution and their wastage. People who want to conserve natural resources try to save them. Use them sensibly. We need to also conserve our natural resources for our future generations. So, how can we conserve our natural resources? Everyone can contribute in conserving the natural resources in one way or the other. Let us see some tips. We can use both the sides of paper. हम कागज के दोनों तरफ से उसका यूज कर सकते हैं. Always use 3 R's, which is reduce, reuse and recycle. हमें 3 R का हमेशा ध्यान रखना है. Reduce, reuse और recycle. We can try to use the bicycle or walk to avoid unnecessary use of petrol. पेट्रोल का कम से कम यूज करने के लिए हम कभी-कभी बाइसिकल का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं या फिर चल सकते हैं. We should turn off all the electrical appliances when not in use. विद्युत उपकरणों को हम हमेशा बंद कर सकते हैं जब उनका यूज ना होता हो. We should try to use water carefully and avoid its wastage. पानी को हमेशा ध्यान से यूज करना चाहिए. उसकी वेस्टेज को हमेशा कम करना चाहिए। We can also try to save rainwater by doing rainwater harvesting. बारिश की पानी को हमेशा बचाकर सेव करके रखना चाहिए। We should try to use cloth towel instead of tissues or towels made of paper. When going with friends or family, try using public transport or do carpooling. We should take it as our responsibility to save energy. If we do not try to save our resources, then all the resources will disappear from Earth and living species will go extinct. So, let us promise together from today to save our natural resources and save our Mother Earth.
Wasn't it an interesting video? We learned about the importance of resources. This video talks about how resources are important and how important it is to conserve these resources. हमने इस वीडियो में ये देखा कि resources कितने महत्वपूर्ण होते हैं और इन resources को कैसे कंजर्व किया जा सकता है। Do you help other people? I'm sure we all try to help each other and we also try to not expect anything in each other. Whenever we try to help someone, we need to be selfless in it. We should not think about if I try to help this person, what will I receive in return? Right? This is why we should always think about others and try to be nice to everyone. हम हमेशा बहुत सारे लोगों की मदद करते हैं, पर हमें एक चीज़ ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए कि हम जब भी किसी की मदद करते हैं, हमें ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि बदले में हमें क्या मिलेगा। Children, can you think of the things that you can do to make our world a better place? Yes, we all can try to be nice to everyone. We can also be selfless and think about others as well. We as human beings try to only think about ourselves, but we should also put other people's need ahead of us. We can try to protect our environment, we can try and study hard and become someone who can bring about a change in our society. We need to remember that everything always starts with us. Someone said that if you wish to bring about a change, you need to start with yourself. Now, let's learn some new words. You will see these words in the poem when we read it. So I request you to make a note of these words in your notebook and try to guess what they mean. आज हम कुछ नए शब्द सीखेंगे। मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप इन शब्दों को अपने नोटबुक में लिखें और गैस करने की कोशिश करें कि इनका क्या अर्थ है। Pitfall. 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 We fell in a pitfall. Chasm. 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 There were streams flowing through chasm. Twilight. 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 The sky looks very pretty at twilight. Span. 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 The city has changed drastically in the span of 10 years. Pilgrim. 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 The old man was a pilgrim in the city. I hope you remember these words and I hope that you have made a note of these words. Now, let's read a poem from our Balbharati textbook. Please open page number 13 of your textbook. The name of the poem is The Pilgrim. Now, I will read the poem and I request you to point at each word as I read it. And if you don't have a textbook, listen to me carefully. आज हम एक कविता सीखेंगे. इस कविता का नाम है द पिलग्रिम. मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप अपना बाल भारती टेक्स्ट बुक का 13वां पन्ना खोलें और मैं जिस तरीके से पढ़ रही हूँ आप उसी तरीके से उन शब्दों को अपने बुक में पॉइंट करें. और अगर आपके पास टेक्स्ट बुक ना हो तो आप मुझे ध्यान से सुनिए. A pilgrim going on a lone highway came at evening cold and grey to a chasm deep and vast and wide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The chasm held no fear for him, but he paused when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. This poem is about a pilgrim. Can you tell me what a pilgrim is? A pilgrim is a traveler, and this traveler is taking a path, and on his way he comes across a chasm. Do you remember this word? Yes, I told you about this word. A chasm means a crack on earth, and usually a stream flows through a chasm. So the traveler comes across this chasm and he crosses it. But does he stop there? No. He tries to build the gap between one end and the other end, and to do that he builds a bridge. इस कविता का नाम है द पिलग्रिम. हमने देखा कि इस कविता में एक मुसाफिर होता है और ये मुसाफिर अपनी राह चल रहा होता है. इसी दौरान वो एक चैज़म या नदी पार करता है, पर वो बीच में रुक जाता है और नदी के बीच में जो गैप रहता है वो कवर करने के लिए वो एक पुल बांध देता है. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, why waste your time in building here? Your journey ends with the close of the day. You never again will pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build ye here at even tide? In this paragraph, we see that the pilgrim comes across another pilgrim, and this pilgrim has a question for him. He asks that why is the pilgrim wasting his time building a bridge when he is not going to use it? जब मुसाफिर पुल बांध रहा होता है, वो एक और मुसाफिर से मिलता है और ये मुसाफिर उससे पूछता है कि जब वो ये पुल दोबारा यूज नहीं करेगा तो वो पुल क्यों बांध रहा है? The pilgrim raised his old grey head. My friend, in the path I have come, he said, there followeth after me today a fair-haired youth who must pass this way. The chasm which held no fears for me, to the fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. My friend, I am building this bridge for him. When the other pilgrim asks this pilgrim as to why is he building the bridge, the pilgrim has a reply. He says that even though he is not going to use this bridge, there might be an inexperienced person who would not be able to cross this chasm, which is why he must build a bridge for someone who is inexperienced. यहाँ पे मुसाफिर एक जवाब देता है. वो कहता है कि भले ही वो इस पुल का इस्तेमाल ना कर पाए, पर वो ये चाहता है कि कोई और मुसाफिर जिसके पास एक्सपीरियंस ना हो, वो ये नदी पार कर सके. From this poem, we learned that we should be selfless. We should always put others before ourselves and think about the generations to come, because that is our true legacy. हमने इस कविता से सीखा कि हमें सिर्फ अपने बारे में ना सोचते हुए दूसरों के बारे में भी सोचना चाहिए. I hope you like this poem. Now, let's do a fun activity. This activity is about rhyming schemes. Have you heard about rhyming schemes? Before we learn about rhyming schemes, let's try to find out some rhyming words. Please open page number 13 of your Balbharati textbook. Now, let's have a look at the first stanza and try to find out the rhyming words from this paragraph. Okay, let's have a look at the rhyming words. In the first stanza, the rhyming words are way, grey, wide, side and tide. Along with these, we have dim and him. So, these are the rhyming words from the first stanza. Now, to create their rhyming scheme, we will have to name alphabets after each word. For example, way rhymes with grey because they sound the same. So, they will be tagged as A. Next, we have wide, which is the second scheme, which rhymes with side and tide. So, wide, side and tide will be B. After this, we have dim and him, and they rhyme together. So, their scheme will be C and C. So, as a whole, the rhyming scheme of first stanza is A, B, C, C, B, B. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Now, it's time for you to sit back and relax while I tell you a wonderful story. Children, can we see in the night? Of course we can. But do you think we will be able to see in the night without any light? No, it will be very difficult, right? But did you know that there are animals who can see even in the dark? Animals like lions and tigers, hunt even in the night. And then we have creatures like fireflies who produce their own light. Aren't these interesting facts? Today, we will learn about more such animals. The name of the story is The Night the Moon Went Missing, and it's written by Shreya Yadav. It was late in the night and Maisha's parents were sleeping, and this time Maisha decided to sneak out of her house, and she grabs her goggles. And what does she do? She goes to her favorite place, her beach, and there she meets her best friend. Her friend's name was Uchli. When Maisha reaches the beach, she calls out her friend, and here comes Uchli. She pops out of the water and goes back in, and she does this again and again and again. Uchli is a flying fish and she loves to show off her skills. But that night, Uchli looked worried, and seeing her, Maisha also started worrying. She asked Uchli what the problem was, and Uchli said, "Can't you see that the moon is missing?" And Maisha had one look at the sky, and she noticed that there was a giant hole in the sky where once stood their friend Moon. Now, they both started worrying, and they decided that it is time they find their friend the moon. Now, they both decide to go looking for the moon, but they have a small problem. How will they see if there is no moon? And then Uchli has a solution. Uchli notices that every time a tide moves, there is some sparkle in the water. Now, they decide to go and find the moon. But how will they do that when there is no light? To this, Uchli has a solution. She notices that every time a big tide moves, there are some shimmery, glowy things in the water. So, they decide to dive into the sea. Maisha gets a hold of Uchli and swoop, they go into the water. And Maisha is astonished at the view. She feels like she is floating into a galaxy of stars. Uchli tells Maisha about the glowing creatures. They are called planktons. Maisha decides to go and ask the planktons if they could help them find the moon. And as she is about to do that, she hears a very deep voice from her behind. And who is there? It is a glowing squid. He says, "I can help you." And when Maisha sees that, she gets very scared. But she also sees that the squid is glowing and spreading neon light across. So she realizes that the squid could actually help them, and all of them go in search of the moon. Uchli, Maisha, the planktons and the glowing squid all go in the search of the moon. They go very deep into the sea. It's getting darker. There is light from the glowing squid and the planktons, but there is still no sight of the moon. As they are going deeper and deeper into the sea, they come across an angler fish. This fish is out for its hunt, and Maisha is not scared anymore. The fish has huge teeth. They are very sharp. But Maisha is not scared. She goes to the angler fish and asks if he has seen the moon. And the angler fish says that she saw the moon a while ago. Maisha and her friends go into the search of the moon. Suddenly, Maisha sees something very big stuck under a rock, and it is glowing. Maisha realizes that it is the moon. So she starts screaming, "Here is the moon! Here is the moon!" And the glowing squid lifts up the rock with his tentacles, and the moon is finally free. Everyone screams with joy, "Hooray!" Now they ask the moon as to how did he land in this position. The moon tells them that he had come to play with his moonfishes, and he doesn't realize that his light was fading. Now the moon rises up. Maisha and Uchli finally say goodbye to all their fish friends and swim and come across the shore. Maisha has a wonderful night and she makes a lot of new friends. This is why Maisha is very happy. I hope you enjoyed the story and you learnt about different types of glowing fishes. Now, for homework, I would request you to tell your parents or family members as to how you would like to bring up a change in the society. I would like to end this session with a quote. We have two hands, one to help others and one to help ourselves. I hope you enjoyed today's session and I will see you in our next session. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye.